Our world is growing exponentially in terms of technology. We can do things which at one time seemed like science fiction, like self-driving and flying cars. Maybe someday we will be able to teleport Star Trek style and time travel. Technology will be all about sustainability and integration. And if everything happens as we foresee it, this year is going to be great. What does technology and AI have in store for 2021? But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We're giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice, so be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter this giveaway. It's really that simple. The Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is basically a term which describes the integration of the physical with information, digital. We already have the integration as I have just described at a certain level, but what we're talking about is the current integration in much more detail. All this would have been science fiction 50 years ago, and even less than that. Remember that the internet only became widely accessible in the 90s. The Internet of Things, IoT, will make cell phones talk with pens and clothing and furniture. It will make your yoga mat talk with an app on your phone or directly with your fridge or treadmill. Imagine your shopping list updating automatically when you take something out of the fridge, or your car letting you know which part broke, and so on. The list for IoT is almost endless, and it reminds me of the famous pop culture or spiritual quote, "However you see it," that says everything is connected. Soon, everything will be connected via the internet, Bluetooth, fiber, lasers, and so on. When we talk about the internet from now on, we of course are talking 5G. Artificial intelligence will play an important role in the IoT. With so many devices talking to one another, these must be prioritized and coordinated, and the relevant information allowed through. AI will play its most important part with networking via the internet and all it offers in terms of new 5G speeds and quantum computing. Decisions will be more accurate because they will be data-driven. Corporate and technology strategists need to have access to accurate data to identify trends, analyze data, reduce wastage, and have informed strategies. All this is necessary to prepare for current changes and an unknown future. Accurate data collection is the first step in this process. This will be made possible by the Internet of Things, IoT, sensors and network modules that are able to report on virtually anything without pause. The next step in the process is the ability to analyze the data. This will be managed by means of technology platforms with advanced analytical capabilities, automation, and artificial intelligence, AI. These factors are now making advanced analytics a possibility. By using tools such as cloud-based dashboards, organizations can identify internal and external strategic forces, making informed decisions, monitor the outcomes of these decisions, and then develop strategies. Everything will happen continuously. The only downside here is that information can be manipulated along the process to suit certain corporate or individual motivation. On the other hand, the IoT will probably make security much stronger with continuous verification algorithms. The cloud will become seriously more important. The modernization of legacy enterprise systems is one of the first steps in digital transformation. In other words, getting software that is no longer being updated to be useful, or to get rid of it and then migrating said software to the cloud. In 2021, the adoption of cloud-based applications will become particularly important. We foresee that a large proportion of the office-based workforce will be operating from home. The global health situation has pointed us in this direction like a compass. To continue with their daily tasks, employees need constant access to important software and collaboration. Organizations will probably adopt a cloud-first mentality when it comes to building or upgrading technology infrastructure in 2021. All this will be made possible and better with the changing of all internet from 4G to 5G. Unless the conspiracy theorists have their say, cybersecurity will become unbreakable. Cybersecurity is high up on the list of risks in an increasingly digital world. Zero Trust security is shaping cybersecurity protocols. Zero Trust is security measures that require everything to be verified. In a Zero Trust architecture, there is no inherent trust, and every access request should be validated based on the identity of the user. Verification will include the device being utilized, its location, and any added variables that provide greater context towards the Zero Trust principle. Only then is access to data, applications, and workloads provided based on the principle of least privilege. Wikipedia explains the principle as follows. In information security, computer science, and other fields, the principle of least privilege, POLP, also known as the principle of minimal privilege or the principle of least authority, requires that in a particular abstraction layer of a computing environment, every module, such as a process, a user, or a program, depending on the subject, must be able to access only the information and resources that are necessary for its legitimate purpose. In layman's terms, the principle of least privilege means compartmentalization. In other words, the user is only allowed to know that which they need to do their work and to keep the process running smoothly. Compartmentalization has been used in the military for ages to ensure an extra layer of security. For most companies, the creation of a zero-trust infrastructure will require third-party assistance from digital transformation experts who have knowledge of the IoT sphere. Third-generation semiconductor materials, SiC. Third-generation semiconductor materials are those materials with a wide band gap, represented by silicon carbide, gallium nitride, zinc oxide, diamond, and aluminum nitride. Third-generation semiconductor materials are cheaper due mostly to better and less complicated production methods. The availability of these materials was, until recently, limited to only a narrow scope of fields, but are now becoming more widely available, rendering a wider range of applications achievable. These materials have increased resistance to high temperatures, voltage, and radiation. For example, SiC-based devices, which are utilized for vehicle power inverters and superfast electric car chargers, are becoming more readily available in the market. It is predicted that in the next 5 years, the world will witness third-generation semiconductor materials being utilized in areas like 5G base stations, new energy vehicles, ultra-high voltage power grids, and more efficient data centers. All this will start happening in 2021. Quantum computing. In 2020, investors around the world flocked to the quantum computing field, while related technologies and systems thrived. This trend should garner even more attention from all parts of society in 2021 and even gain momentum. Some experts, however, believe that quantum computing must first deliver enough value to make it worthwhile. Other experts disagree and say that its speed will bring costs down dramatically based on Moore's law. Investopedia describes Moore's law as follows. Moore's law refers to Moore's perception that the number of transistors on a microchip doubles every 2 years, though the cost of computers is halved. Moore's law states that we can expect the speed and capability of our computers to increase every couple of years, and we will pay less for them. Another tenet of Moore's law asserts that this growth is exponential. President of Alibaba Cloud Intelligence, Jeff Zhang, told Express.co.uk in a recent interview, the mission in the post-quantum supremacy era must be aligned across the industry to tackle critical scientific and engineering problems through collaborative innovation and to pave the way for quantum error correction and practical utility. 2 milestones in quantum computing. The post-quantum supremacy era will prioritize quantum error correction and the practical utility of quantum computing. According to MIT News, crucial to most designs for quantum computers is quantum error correction, which helps preserve the fragile quantum states on which quantum computation depends. The ideal quantum error correction code would correct any errors in quantum data, and it would require measurement of only a few quantum bits or qubits at a time. The problem is therefore a coding issue. Whichever way you look at it, quantum computing will probably revolutionize our society. The best part is that we may see part of that in 2021 already. Breakthrough in carbon-based materials. Flexible electronics can deliver stable performance even after deformations like bending, folding, and stretching them. These materials are ideal for wearable devices, electronic skins, and flexible screens. In the past, flexible materials were not flexible enough or just unable to compete with the rigid silicone-based materials in terms of electrical and physical characteristics, consequently limiting their demand commercially. New groundbreaking developments in carbon-based materials, however, however, have recently allowed for flexible electronics to dramatically exceed their previous stress points. An example is carbon nanotubes that are now used to produce large-scale integrated circuits which deliver improved performance compared to silicone-based circuits of the same size. A very promising material called graphene has also been discovered and is now in large-scale production. Graphene was discovered in 2004. It is super strong and stiff, incredibly thin, almost completely transparent, extremely light, and is a superb conductor of electricity and heat. It also has some rare electronic properties. 5G will provide unprecedented levels of speed and connectivity. 5G is rapidly becoming the new standard of the data era as it extends the cloud operating model to deliver widespread hyperspeed and connectivity. In 2021, mobile network operators will probably increase their investments in modern information technology that places their network structure firmly in the cloud, bringing us closer to the kind of widespread connectivity and on-the-edge processing that 5G technology promises to make possible. By combining cutting-edge network technology and the latest high-specification devices, 5G should offer connections that are multitudes faster than previous mobile technology allowed. 5G offers average download speed of around 1 Gbps, gigabits per second, which is expected to be the norm across all next-generation cell phone networks. The download speed of 1 Gbps translates into data transfers of around 125 Mbps, megabytes per second, since there are 8 megabits in a megabyte. That means users will be able to download a movie that they purchased online in as little as 6 seconds. There's a lot of false hype around 5G, just as there was with the introduction of the first cell phones. Conspiracy theorists are having a field day jumping on one bandwagon after the other, but most people are not ignorant enough to fall for the types of ideas these people peddle. The future is bright in terms of technology and artificial intelligence. Mankind has the means. All we need now is the right philosophy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check in for our next one. Take care.